Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, everybody? This is Joseph Conlon coming to you with your Monday Night Raw review on Monday, April 27th, 2020. And I want to first get this off my chest. This show tonight was absolutely horrendous from top to bottom. Yes, there was a few good moments in the show tonight. There was actually, in my opinion, only two good things on the show tonight. The contract signing at the end with Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, and the Apollo Crews Andrade match for the United States Championship. But outside of that, man, this show was horrendous in every which way, and I hate feeling tired after I watch a wrestling show. After watching Monday Night Raw tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time to 11 o'clock now, I am exhausted. I am absolutely tired and cannot wait to go to bed. But I'm going to give you guys the best review I possibly can tonight for this Monday Night Raw. We'll talk about everything that happened 1 week until Money in the Bank. So before we start talking about Raw tonight, you guys know what to do. Make sure you guys go check out recent videos here on the channel. Watch the SmackDown review that I did on Friday. That show was horrendous too, just like this one. And make sure you check out Sunday's News and Rumors video right here on the Big Fight Field channel. Without further ado, let's start talking about Monday Night Raw tonight, which started off with the MVP VIP Lounge, and it was with his three guests, Aleister Black, Apollo Crews, and Rey Mysterio. And not a lot of words from the three guys. This was a segment to basically set up a six-man tag between those three: Andrade, Garza, and Austin Theory. So, I mean, this segment was really not worth it. This was just to set up a match between Black, Crews, and Mysterio versus Andrade, Garza, and Theory. So that was the first match of the show. And the match itself, of course, the match was good. You got six incredible talents in there with Black, Crews, Rey Mysterio, Andrade, Garza, and Austin Theory. Of course, you're going to get a great match out of those guys. Those guys put on a pretty good six-man tag. But, I mean, geez, I had two problems with this. Number one, the match went way too long. The match did not need to go to commercials whatsoever. A six-man tag in any capacity, it doesn't matter what capacity it is, a six-man tag should not go over 30 minutes. I'm sorry. That is overly ridiculous at every sense of the matter. That a six-man tag should not ever go over 30 minutes. Yet this six-man tag, which meant absolutely nothing, no purpose, nothing on the line, went over 30 minutes. And the second problem I had is WWE backing themselves up into a corner here. You had Black, Crews, and Rey Mysterio, who all three of them are going to be participating in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And then you have Andrade, Garza, and Theory, who are a brand new stable, and none of these six men can take a loss. whatsoever right now. So you pretty much just backed yourselves up into a corner. And Andrade, Garza, and Theory took the loss. They took the loss after what had happened to them last week. So this alliance, I was liking it early. I still like them. They're all great at what they do. But I mean, Jesus Christ, you can't be feeding these guys losses already, can you? You can't. You can't. It's too early for these guys to be losing. These guys need to be taken seriously. And with losses like this, they're not going to be taken seriously. So, Black, Cruz, and Mysterio win. Good match. But, I mean, way too long of a match for my theory. Asuka, Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler triple threat women's match. Here is your weekly reminder, right here on the Monday Night Raw review on the Big Fight Field channel. Your weekly reminder: Nia Jax sucks. Nia Jax sucks. There you go. I had to get it out there. I'm gonna say it every week. As long as I do these reviews right here on the Big Fight Field channel, I'll say it every week. Nia Jax sucks. What was the point of this? Now, before I start talking about it, I get it. You got all three of these women in the Money in the Bank ladder match. This route with not having a match was the best way of booking things. Because you don't want any of these women taking a loss before the ladder match next week. You don't want any of them taking a loss. But, I mean, they made Asuka and Shayna Baszler look like dummies. Look like tackling dummies for Nia Jax just to throw around and beat the shit out of. Like, she threw Asuka into the barricade. She threw Shayna Baszler into the barricade, just dismantling them, throwing them around like they're a piece of trash, picking up a ladder, and then dropping it. I'm glad they didn't have the match because, hey, we don't get to see Nia Jax wrestle. That's a positive on Monday Night Raw. That's another positive on this fine edition of Monday Night Raw. WWE canceled this match because they knew that Nia Jax was going to hurt Asuka or Shayna Baszler. So they can't have that on Raw, right? Oh boy. I just feel bad for Asuka and Shayna in this situation, having to get laid down and beaten down by Nia Jax like this. Denzel Dejournette versus Bobby Lashley. This was 3 minutes. Bobby Lashley won with a spear, and that was it. It looks like they're breaking up Bobby Lashley with Lana. Slowly, but they're breaking him up. Good. They need to break up. We need to get this guy the match that he's wanted since he came back, and the only reason he came back to the WWE was a match with Brock Lesnar. That match needs to happen at SummerSlam. No ifs, ands, or buts. Liv Morgan versus Ruby Riott for the second week in a row. Liv Morgan won in about 4 minutes last week. I'd say this week, Liv Morgan won in about 3 minutes. Nothing new here. We need to get Liv and Ruby away from each other for a long time and let them do their own stuff. That's all I really gotta say about this. Nothing special whatsoever. I put this in there. Charlie Caruso and a backstage interview with Nia Jax. And she was talking about her actions to Shayna and Asuka. She said, "What is Shayna going to do about my actions? Nothing. What is Oscar gonna do about my actions? Nothing. What are you gonna do about my actions? Nothing. And then she says, what am I gonna do about my reactions? And she screams out the word nothing to poor Charlie Caruso. She's yelling nothing, the word nothing, at Charlie Caruso. So not only do we know that Nia Jax can't wrestle, Nia Jax can't cut a promo. So, there you go. Akira Tozawa versus the returning make-believe modern day FailureRajah, Jinder Mahal. The return of Jinder freaking Mahal. Oh God. Nia Jax and Jinder Mahal have both came back to Monday Night Raw on the same month. April has been such a disaster. Unbelievable. Jinder Mahal, I'm just going to get this out of the way with. Jinder Mahal destroyed Akira Tozawa in about 3 minutes. He got a fresh haircut. And I'm pretty sure they're pushing Jinder Mahal because Mike Rome said in his entrance, former WWE champion Jinder Mahal. What does that tell you, folks? Jinder Mahal is back on the main event scene right after Money in the Bank and will be the next challenger for Drew McIntyre. Boy, are we lucky to see Jinder Mahal back on television. Yippee! And this is when the shills, the WWE shills, the people who, just think this company is perfect and they do no wrong whatsoever. And yeah, basically that. I'm talking about this guy on Twitter. And he is 100% the biggest WWE shill in the Twitter wrestling community. No doubt about it. His name is Patrick Mason. And some dude, I'm not sure who it was, posted Jinder Mahal's back with a smiling emoji on that. And I commented, why are you happy about that? And then he said, because Jinder is a legend, bro, so he's trying to be all cool about Jinder Mahal. And I say, he's trash in the ring. Why would you be happy about Jinder Mahal? And he said, oh, his championship reign was actually pretty damn good. That's what this dude, Patrick Mason, told me tonight. His championship reign, Jinder Mahal's championship reign in 2017 was actually pretty good. Folks, if you expect me to take this guy seriously, you are a fool. I mean, seriously. Come on, man. How stupid could you get? I mean, opinion is an opinion. I get it at the end of the day, but Jesus Christ. Saying Jinder Mahal had a good WWE Championship reign in 2017 when he single-handedly killed SmackDown Live. For you to have the balls to say Jinder Mahal had a good championship reign in 2017 makes you look like a complete idiot. And what I said earlier, this guy is one of the biggest WWE shills in the entire wrestling community. And will defend this company no matter what. They can make the shittiest creative decision ever. This dude is there to back them up and make it turn into a positive situation. Jesus Christ. People in this app make me pissed off. I was irritated out this shit. You gotta be mental thinking Jinder Mahal was a good champion. And what makes you what's gonna make this better of Jinder Mahal being the WWE champion? Because we know what's happening. He might not be the champion, but we know he's next after Seth Rollins for Drew McIntyre's championship. Jesus Christ. Apollo Crews versus Andrade. Now I'm pissed off. Because I just talked about Jinder Mahal for a good portion of this review. But Apollo Crews versus Andrade. This was actually a pretty damn good United States Championship match up until Apollo Crews was injured. Hold on a second. This was actually a pretty damn good U.S. Championship match up until the DQ. But, I mean, it was still a really good match overall. And speaking of Apollo Crews, I just got a notification from Twitter saying WWE's Twitter handle, Apollo Crews will no longer be able to compete in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match due to the knee injury he suffered during the U.S. title match against Andrade. That sucks. I feel bad for him. But, I mean, hey, after tonight and him going down with an injury, him hurting his knee, if this leads to Apollo Crews continuing his feud with Andrade past Money in the Bank and him eventually getting the United States Championship, I'm all for it. The guy 100% deserves it. He is probably one of the most underrated athletes on the entire WWE main roster. He's been so underutilized. I'd just like this guy to be the U.S. champion. I think it'd make a good moment. I really would. Match was really good too, so I can imagine them two having a pretty damn good match the next time they get at it again. We got the Street Profits in a backstage promo talking about the Viking Raiders, and the Viking Raiders have always beaten them, and they've never beaten the Viking Raiders before. And this was to set up a match next week on Monday Night Raw. And it's a non-title match. So what does that tell you, folks? What does that tell you? The Viking Raiders will beat the Street Profits next week on Raw in the non-title match. That will earn them a tag team title match at the pay-per-view, and they will lose the tag team title match to the Street Profits at the pay-per-view. What is that called? 50-50 booking. 50-50 at its finest again. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Ricochet and Cedric Alexander versus Everprise. I didn't even pay attention to the match. I'm sorry. Did not care. Did not pay attention to the match. Cedric and Ricochet won in about 5 minutes, I think. And then we get a promo from MVP backstage with Shane Thorne and Brandon Vink saying these guys thought your win last week was a fluke and they want a rematch. So I guess we're getting a rematch with Cedric and Ricochet against Shane Thorne and Brandon Vink. Awesome. Finally, the final segment on Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre contract signing. This was actually pretty damn good. I'd say since WWE has moved into the Performance Center, Seth Rollins has cut some pretty damn good promos, man. The guy might get shit on for what he says on social media, and I totally understand that. But since he's turned heel, and since he's been at the Performance Center, the man has been cutting some of the best promos in a long time. And I thought this segment was pretty... Excuse me there. I actually thought this segment was pretty damn good. And it made me even more excited to see Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre at the pay-per-view. So I'm pretty damn excited about it. But now, I actually want to talk about one more thing before we get out of here. Now, Apollo Crews is out of the Money in the Bank ladder match. I am very disappointed by that. Who is going to replace Apollo Crews in the Money in the Bank ladder match? I am going to say we are not going to find that out until the pay-per-view. Now, I see this. I could see this as a positive. I could also see this more likely being a negative. What's the positive about this? This might actually help Apollo Crews, make us fans invested in Apollo Crews, hoping that he gets that United States Championship from Andrade when he comes back. That's a positive. The other positive about this one is Kevin Owens, because Seth Rollins lost to Kevin Owens at the WrestleMania. And Seth Rollins, although I'm excited for the match at Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins, I gotta admit, was handed a world title match at Money in the Bank. Kevin Owens was not even in a qualifying match. So he could fill in as the replacement for Apollo Crews if he's not in quarantine in Montreal. I would love to see Kevin Owens be the replacement and have him win the Money in the Bank ladder match. And I see this more likely a negative. Why do I see this as a negative? Because I can see Vince McMahon pulling once again another Brock Lesnar like he did last year. Why do I see Vince McMahon pulling another Brock Lesnar? Because Vince McMahon said on this past week's conference call that the reasons that ratings are dropping for Monday Night Raw is because Brock Lesnar is not the WWE champion. He said they don't have Brock Lesnar. So I could see Vince McMahon screwing the younger talent, pulling a Brock Lesnar, having Brock Lesnar come in for 45 seconds and pick up the briefcase. The other negative I see about this was the man who I ranted about and the man who returned tonight. The make-believe modern-day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal, replacing Apollo Crews and having him win the Money in the Bank ladder match. And this kind of sucks because more than likely now, knowing WWE, it is going to be Jinder Mahal. And knowing WWE and how they make shitty booking decisions, Aleister Black is going to suffer through all of this. Aleister Black should be the one who wins the Money in the Bank ladder match. And who is going to... And if Jinder Mahal's the replacement, you think WWE's not going to have Jinder Mahal win the Money in the Bank? Of course they are. Of course, they're going to have Jinder Mahal win Money in the Bank if he's the replacement for Apollo Crews. I swear to God, I hope it doesn't happen. And I'm very sorry if I just gave you guys a nightmare there. But that's my take on who could possibly be Apollo Crews' replacement at Money in the Bank. Overall, this show was absolutely horrendous tonight. Jinder Mahal, the make-believe Maharaja, is back, unfortunately. And we could see him in the main event scene pretty darn soon. But I want to thank you guys for watching this review. If you haven't already, subscribe right here on the Big Five Fuel channel. We got other content for you this week. Dark Side of the Ring tomorrow night. Dr. David Schultz. AEW Wednesday. NXT Thursday. The normal. Comment down below what you thought of tonight's Monday Night Raw. Like this video with a super kick. You can follow me on Twitter at Joseph Conlon. I'm actually at 447 followers. Let's try to get up to 500 followers before next Sunday's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. You can follow me on Instagram at Colin_Joseph. And you can follow Eddie on Twitter at Eddie Mullins515. Guys, I'm getting out of here. I'm exhausted. I'm going to get some rest, do some schoolwork tomorrow. And I'll be back right here on the Big Five Fuel channel for your Dark Side of the Ring review. Should be a good one. I'm always happy to watch a Dark Side of the Ring show. Have a good night and stay safe.